Welcome to another edition of Northern Heat. Today, our special guest, Jimmy Chamberlain. Jimmy, welcome to the show today.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's certainly a pleasure to be here with you.
Well, Jimmy, you and I have known each other for a little while. We're not going to say any
I was
time.
going to say, yeah.
Yeah, but when I moved to Bathurst in grade 8, I believe, or 7 or 8, we were next door neighbors.
Yeah.
And so it's been a while.
Did you know that I've had a hate on for you for 45 years?
Why is that?
Well, when you first came here, I was the king of the subdivision. I was the fastest guy on the bicycle. You beat me once when I was 12, and I never forgot it.
Get over it to me.
I can't because I was the king of the subdivision.
Oh, there we go.
And you come in and you were faster. You had a bike with a banana seat.
Yeah.
Imagine what I can remember from 45 years ago. You had a bike with a banana seat, 3-speed shifter on it.
Yeah.
And you beat me around the block. I was devastated.
Well, you know what? I forgot all about that. You know?
I didn't.
Okay.
Imagine.
So those were the beginnings of your days on motocross bikes and stuff. So we're just going to throw that in because this is not the topic. But you retired from teaching, and since then have didn't take up the hobby because it was already part, but amplified it a little bit more. So most people when they retire will pick up golfing or something like that. But
too slow.
Motocross,
too slow for
racing.
Me. Well, it's something that I've been doing since I was 14. This is actually my 45th year doing it. Now, do I race as fast and as hard as I did when I was in my 20s? Of course not. But it's still, I'm an adrenaline junkie, and it's still something that I so enjoy doing. There's classes for my age group. You'd be welcome if you wanted to try. I'm in the 50-plus category. We call ourselves the senior group or the mature riders. There's about 30 of us, 25 on a regular basis, and we've been racing with each other since we were in our mid-30s. So we've no desire to cut someone off in the corner, to jump over someone's head. We all know what our speed is, and we sit there and laugh and joke about the racing as we're on the line, and we talk about it afterwards. And it's also, I wanted to go into retirement not sitting in a rocking chair. I wanted to be active, and I retired a little bit earlier than maybe I could have, simply because I wanted to remain active. I wanted to travel. I wanted to see the world, and I wanted to continue doing things that brought joy to my life.
Well, there's different definitions of active, and motocross racing wouldn't have been on the top of my list. But when it's something that you do, I snowboard. So those are kind of the things that we end up doing. But today's discussion is all about what you do for the community and what you do for the kids. And you're quite involved with the skate park that's right outside of the Casey Irving Regional Center. And tell us a little bit about that. How what do you do? And
well, first of all, years ago, my dad told me one time about my community. When I was growing up and I was in scouts and baseball and hockey, there was always a gentleman or a woman who came forward and coached my team, managed my team, drove me to the events. There's always someone doing that. And my dad told me, don't forget that. You're going to be a community member somewhere in the region. Give back to your community. And he also said to me that don't consider it a privilege for the scouts, the baseball team, having you as a volunteer. Consider it an honor to be able to volunteer in your community.
That's an excellent way of looking at it.
So when I returned, I got right into whatever I could. Hockey coach. I supported hockey programs throughout the year. And then close to retirement, as I drive home each and every day, I used to see the skate park. I was always involved with kids and how I can promote their activity in the community, giving them something to do. It was important to me. And our church, believe it or not, said, Jim, look at the skate park. Is there anything we can do? And I'm talking about the Evangel Church in South Bathurst. And the young pastor there said, Jim, I know you have a heart for youth. Is there anything you could do? That's all he had to say. Of course there is, because I wanted to be involved with the youth, give them some place where they felt safe. Skate park is a great place, and I didn't have to do anything. Just being an adult presence there changed the complexity of the park. Kids were enjoying themselves. I'm sure there were things going on beforehand with no adult presence that I think a lot of parents were a little nervous about. And with the church coming in and our little team coming in, it was a win-win situation for me, the desire to give back to my community, the church's support, and we went there and kept the skate park and moved it forward. We opened the canteen. We call it the Hangtime Canteen. We lowered the cost as absolutely, we're almost exchanging dollar bills. The point is to put everything back. So anything we raise goes back into the canteen in some form or another. We give prizes. We had a couple of contests this summer. We gave away skateboards. Well, we purchased those skateboards with the money that we sold canteen supplies. So it's a circle.
Stays there and
it
goes
stays there.
Okay.
Long range plan. I'm thinking next summer. I wanted to build up a nest egg. I don't know if you've noticed behind the skate park there's a BMX track.
Yes. Yeah.
It needs some work,
Yeah.
but it needs capital to move it forward.
Yeah.
That's my 2022 plan, is to spend more time developing that area as well. There's bicycles on the skate park. We kind of don't say very much, but that's not the intention of the skate park.
Yeah.
But we have no place for them.
Wow.
So if we can build something that they will like, then we can kind of isolate the two locations. And that's my 2020 goal. So all the proceeds that we've been selling and everything we could do goes towards a project for next year for that park.
Excellent. So you mentioned you're part of a group of people. So how many people are volunteering?
There's about 8 or 9 of us in the church that volunteer. We open 10:30 to 4, 6 days a week. So we need those volunteers to come in and give up their time. We got a lot of donations of water and Gatorade and things that are sold on a regular basis. So you got to stock the shelves and clean the facility. And, we weeded the track. There was grass.
Yeah.
I can't grow grass in my front yard,
but it will grow there.
Any place there. So that's got to be weeded. You take care of the garbage and some of the words that aren't proper that should be there. You kind of get rid of them as well. And we had a skate competition with the assistance of Culture. Culture actually put it on, but our last day we had this great big skate competition. Had some professional skaters from all over New Brunswick come in and skate, and had, I would say, close to 1,000, maybe 800 to 1,000
This was this past weekend.
This was this past weekend. We had a gigantic crowd, and it was 35 Celsius, and it was full. It was full. And so there's a lot of interest in skating and the world of skating. It's a big world unto its own. You and I would probably not fit well into the garb that they wear, but to each their own.
Yeah. And skateboarding has been around for years. When we grew up, it was the big crave in California. Remember, in the pools and everybody looking for an empty pool somewhere so they could go skateboarding. And the fact that there was money donated a number of years ago.
I don't even know who Fred Pitre is, but he donated a good size of money.
Well, Fred Pitre was.
Did you know who he was?
I knew who he was, and he was an industrialist and somebody that was involved in a lot of industry. And had done well in investments and that kind of stuff. And he was from here. So, he donated to the park. Why he chose the park, I have no idea. But I'm very glad that he did because, it gave something to the kids, something for them to do. And it's always full.
And it's always full. And that's the key is, I know sometimes we forget we were kids. But we got to take care of that next group. It's someone took care of me. Yeah. Someone gave me things to do. There were scout leaders. There were hockey coaches. There were baseball coaches. Well, we need to step out into our community and take care of them as well. I have the time now to do a lot more of this. And it's very important to me, and I think it's very important to a lot of my friends that we get out and help our kids and move forward.
So, Jimmy, on behalf of the citizens of Bathurst, because I live here, and our region, not just the city, but because of our region and everything else, and the families and everything else, I want to thank you for volunteering and doing that work.
Well, again, I said at the beginning, it's an honor. I feel it's an honor to be able to do this for my community. It has done so much to me, and it's interesting that when I was in university, the last place I wanted to return to, because I was going to see the world, and I was going to run the world, was Bathurst, New Brunswick. I didn't want to come back to my hometown, but there was a magnetism.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it hauls you back in, and you get to see just how great of a community we have. I don't think we do ourselves justice in terms of promoting our region. I'm glad you do.
Well,
glad
that's
you
what
do.
this is all
Yeah,
about, Jimmy.
I'm glad
It's
you
all
do.
about here because I was like you.
Yeah.
You know, I left for university. I'm not coming back to Bathurst because there wasn't anything for the youth to do.
Mhm.
And so the things that you're doing has increased that. I think that Bathurst and the whole region is a great place to
I
raise
agree.
our kids.
I agree.
I'm very, very fortunate both of my kids and my grandchildren are here. I know that yours aren't here yet.
I have some here. I have
Okay.
one group of my family is
Okay.
here in town. Yeah.
Okay. But you're working on getting the rest of them back.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard pull though. But you know, I unfortunately at the time, the economy had to take them elsewhere. But I still sense there is a longing to come back. I don't think they'd admit it yet. I think you need to be a little older, then you'll see that longing to come back and a little stronger.
We got so many great things to offer, and
You know, I'm just beginning to explore a lot of the things I didn't notice. My wife is very outdoorsy in the winter. I'm not. And she's taking me now snowshoeing, cross-country skiing. We're even thinking fat biking. We noticed the trails. I don't think we didn't promote those enough. I'm only noticing them now, and now I'm excited for the winter. I wasn't very excited for winter. Now I am.
Jimmy, we live in northern New Brunswick. You got to be excited about
I
winter.
played hockey, and you know, I had other things that I did. But and interestingly enough, there is a kit you can put on your motocross bike. They call it a timber sled. I'm eyeing that very closely. So you may hear me out in the winter. It actually makes it look like a little snowmobile.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is your next.
This may be my next.
Your next project.
Adventure.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck with that.
All right.
And again, thank you very much. Oh, and thank you for being on the show today. And again, you know, it's the volunteering. Yes, I know you look at that as being a privilege, but not everybody does. So again, thank you for stepping up and for helping the kids and for being out there and doing this stuff.
And
really appreciate it.
And thank you to my church as well for stepping up, the Evangel Church. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Good. There we are. Another edition of Northern Heat for this week, the place that we tell the stories that haven't been discovered yet.